Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning as well, whatever time of day it is. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Just doing a weather check. Yep, still awful. So welcome to the south coast of the UK. My name is Laura Jane, to give me my full name, and I am going to be with you for the next hour, looking at something very exciting. Going to be looking at this. Oh yes, how to boost your lexical range and how to impress an examiner. Okay, so we are going to be looking specifically at key adverbs for emphasis and style. I think emphatic and stylish writing is very much what examiners want to see. So let's keep those examiners happy, shall we? Absolutely. Good stuff. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to look at the requirements, actually, for the vocabulary band scores. That's very, very useful. And then we're going to look, unsurprisingly, we're going to look at some key adverbs as well. Okay. Now, those of you who have been with me before in these sessions, welcome back. We're going to have a quick look at probably the most important document, actually, for writing. We're going to look at what the examiners do and do not want you to do. Okay. Now, I know I say this a lot, and I am not going to apologize for saying it again. In the speaking and in the writing, you are performing to an audience. Okay, so in the reading and the listening, you are going to be marked by a computer. You can't impress a computer. All you're going to do is choose the right answer or the wrong answer. In the productive papers, that's in the speaking, and in the writing, it's different. Examiners are very professional. Oh, hello. Nice to see you both. Examiners are very professional, but they have to comply with very, very strict rules and regulations themselves to keep the banding system exact. So the good thing about IELTS, lots of good things about IELTS, obviously, but the good thing is, one second, I'm just going to do a little bit of moving around of documents here. I want to show you this. The good thing is that they make it really clear. They tell you what you need to need not do. I'm going to look. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to look at task 2 with you. One second. Okay. So let's have a look at the task 2 banding requirements. Okay. So let's have a look here. Okay, one second. Okay. Where have we gone? Here we are. Okay. So I'm trying to make it as big as I can for you to see it. Oh, hello from Bangladesh. Hello. Very nice to see you. Okay. Good stuff. I'm going to disappear and just let you look at these. Nice and big. I'm doing very well, thank you, Mikhail. How are you? I make this. This is going to get really big now, so I'm going to disappear, but you're going to see these lovely documents, and it's a very important document as well. So this is what we need to make sure that you are you need to make sure that you're very familiar with. This is how you are marked. Okay, this is how your grades are calculated. So let's go for, make it slightly bigger. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's the score is divided into 4 different areas. Task response. So it's basically, do you do what you've been asked to do? Do you answer the question, basically? Coherence and cohesion, this is my favorite. This is basically if the answer is structurally good, if it makes sense, if it's organized, if when somebody reads it, if they actually can understand how you've organized it and ordered it, and that there is a progression, okay, that there is movement throughout the task. I'm just going to skip over this one because we're going back to that in a moment. Grammatical range and accuracy. Well, that's quite straightforward. You basically need to show that you have a really good awareness of all sorts of grammar, complex structures and simple structures, that you can use them correctly, and to get a really good score, so basically of 7 and upwards, you need to be producing more sentences that do not have errors or mistakes in them than do. So you need to be ambitious because you don't get marks for playing it safe, because the examiner can't see and can't tick the box, because that's what they do. Can't tick the box to say that you do have a good grammatical knowledge if you don't use grammar that shows that you have that. Okay, so what we're focusing on today is, when you get to high levels, there is such a crossover between grammar and vocabulary. They're kind of the same thing in a way. But what we are looking at today is possibly more what we call lexical resource. Lexical resource is another word for vocabulary, because you can see in the column here, the word vocabulary is used over and over and over again. So let's have a look here. Let's go for a 7 today, shall we? So uses a sufficient range of vocabulary to allow flexibility and precision. Now, like this one here. Uses less common lexical items with some awareness of style and collocation. So style is one of the things we're going to be looking at with the adverbs today. Collocation is the words that go together. Okay, so there we go. So that's a 7. Now it's important as well, I just want to highlight this. I like using different colors. For a 7, for your vocabulary, and actually with, with the grammar as well, let's go from 9, 8, 7. Now you're still allowed, even at level 9, which is amazing, you're still allowed to make some errors, but they have to be very few of them, and they have to be little tiny mistakes. So not that you've made a wrong decision about the choice of word or the grammar is completely wrong. They're a slip or a mistake, kind of similar to what somebody for whom English is their first language, a mistake that they would make. But the important thing to remember here is, even to get absolute top marks here, you still are allowed to make mistakes, but only small ones and not very many of them. So, but what we need to make sure, whilst we've got the safety of knowing that you can make mistakes, is that you are actually using a lot of vocabulary that shows, we go up to 8. Uses a wide range of vocabulary fluently and flexibly to convey precise meanings. And that is what adverbs do. Let's just go up to 9 as well. Uses a wide range of vocabulary. They like the use of wide range. Very natural and sophisticated control. Okay. So what we need to do, you can see the words that are used here: flexible and precise. So you need to show that you have an awareness of lots of different language, that you are capable of saying the same thing in lots of different ways, but also that you are exact when you're doing it. So you're making your point very clearly using very precise language. Okay. Hello. Oh, you see? I look at some IELTS bands, and then there's loads of people here. Hello, everyone. Hi. I hope you're enjoying looking at the IELTS bands. They're a wonderful thing, aren't they? We're all doing well. Thank you very much. That's great. I want to say something as well. You know, I'm going back and going big again and disappearing. When you're at school, and actually beyond school as well, teachers focus on grammar, okay, much more than vocabulary. Why do they do that? Because grammar is much easier to teach. Grammar is straightforward. Grammar is basically rules. You know, there is a right and there is a wrong answer. The vocabulary is different. You know, English vocabulary is huge. It's almost infinite. We have an absolutely massive amount of words in English. And we have lots of words that have the same meaning as well. And there's lots of meanings to the same word sometimes as well. So that's why often focus on teaching, especially at school level, sometimes at university level as well. It's all about grammar because it's easy. Honestly, trust me, you know, it's much easier to teach grammar than it is to teach vocabulary. Because with grammar, you can kind of answer things yes or no, wrong or right. It's much more controlled. It's much more contained. With vocabulary, there are just so many different options. There's so many different words that can be used. And from your point of view, as people who want to really make a very positive impact on an examiner, you've got to show that you know a lot of words that are unusual. The words, the choice of words here is uncommon, and that you can use them well, and you know that you can change them around. So there we go. No stress at all there. Nice and easy. That's all you've got to do. So how do you do that? Because I can say to students as well, I can say to students, okay, use the passive. Make sure you use a variety of tenses. Make sure you don't just use the present simple. You know, we can give you quite clear guidelines as to what you should be doing with regards to grammar. We can tell you quite exactly what you need to do. Vocabulary is a little bit different. And students say, okay, great. We've got 25% of our overall mark is about the words that we use. But what does that mean? What should I be using? What shouldn't I be using? And I can tell you that there's obviously a massive answer to that. I mean, I could just say to you, use a wide variety of words. And you're like, well, great. Can you give me some examples? So, of course, it completely depends. I'm very well, thank you. It completely depends on the type of question that you're asked. Now, we know that there are some, it's quite limited, isn't it? The type of things that you're asked to write about in the IELTS are very general. And the reason they're very general is because, well, you can see by looking at the people that we have here online with us, the same exam is taken everywhere. Toronto to Timbuktu. You know, so we have to have very, very general subjects in order to make it possible for everybody to write about them. So the IELTS exam, it is quite safe. The environment, education, technology, transport, family life, kind of about culture as well. You know, these are the sort of areas that you will be asked to write about. But we don't know exactly what you're going to be asked to write about because I can't see into the future. But we know the type of language that you can use in all different parts of the writing that will make a really, really good impression. And one of those is adverbs. So I call them key adverbs because they are very important and they give weight and they give interest and detail to your writing. So let's have a look at them. Okay. So 1 second, I'm just going to do a little bit of technical wizardry here. Okay. So it's important that you're understood in English, but that's kind of like survival English. You know, that's basically getting your point across. But we want to encourage you to do more than that. Okay, we want to encourage you to be precise and flexible in your language usage. And adverbs are a very clear way of indicating that you can do both of these things. Let's have a look. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Okay, I'm going to be small. I'm going to disappear actually. And this is going to be big. Okay. And I make it a bit bigger here. Okay. So we've got a sentence here right at the top. So I'm going to go wild with the highlighters in this class this afternoon. Clearly, these distractions will reduce how much work you produce. Clearly, these distractions will reduce the amount or how much work you produce. So, what we need to do here is just have a think. Does this sentence make sense on its own? Clearly, these distractions will reduce how much work you produce. Yes. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with this sentence. It's actually a very good sentence. But we want to add something to this to make it an even better sentence. So, reduce. Wavy line. Reduce is a verb. And as you know, because you've learned English, I'm sure, for a very long time, I'm sure your language is very good. If we want to add information to a verb to give it more detail, we add an adverb. And there's a little tip here as well. Which is true. Using adverbs will help make your ideas and opinions sound stronger to the reader. So this is good. This is to do with communicating yourself very clearly. Examiners like clear communication. So there actually isn't really, I mean, there's not a wrong answer, but we can use all sorts of adverbs here. Clearly, these distractions will work you produce. So, one second. Okay, so, okay, it's fun watching me type here. Oh. Okay, so let's have a think. What type, just in the chat box, what adverb could we put in the gap here? Who can tell me? What adverb could we put in this gap? Any contributions gratefully received? What could we put? Well, I can help you out here. We could say significantly or greatly. We could use both of these things. Considerably, excellent. Yeah, good. So these are all adding. This is, we're giving weight to the verb here. Going back in again, we're going to go big. So this is saying that it's going to make the reduction happen a lot. Clearly, these distractions will reduce how much you work. Now, we could also, I mean, that's adding to the emphasis here. but what we could also do as well is we could take it the other direction. We could actually reduce the impact of the adverb. We could say slightly. 1 second. I'm going to go big again. Whoa. So yeah, we could really make it big here, or we could make it small. Clearly, these distractions will either considerably, significantly, greatly reduce how much work you produce, or we could reduce it, say slightly. It doesn't change the meaning, but it gives more detail. Yeah. So how to do with that thing about the examiners were talking about before, about being precise. It's actually giving more. It's giving more information, basically, which is a good thing. Okay, so let's have a look at some more adverbs here. So don't worry about the left and the right columns for now. I just want to focus on these two. This is how you are going to increase your mark with your vocabulary. Okay, you need to do that by adding words to make your sentences more complex. So first of all, let's have a look at these. Okay. So these are modal verbs. May, might, can, could, would, will. Now, we use these a lot in academic writing. Okay, so university level in the UK, to write in the correct register, to write in the expected style, you will need to be using modal verbs. This is because even when you are asked to give your opinion, like in an opinion essay, for example, you still have to be a little bit cautious. Okay, so we call it speculating. So you still have to say, I think this will happen. But we have to reduce the certainty about it. So it's just not appropriate to say in an essay. Let's take the first sentence here. Joining a sports club. Okay. Joining a sports club makes you fit. In conversation, that's fine. Yeah. But in an essay, it doesn't really work, because what we should be doing in an essay is actually saying, this is what we believe, but also we want to tell the person reading that this isn't 100% true, that there are other possibilities, and also, very importantly, that different people might have different opinions and expectations about an outcome. So modal verbs are really important because they show that you are speculating. You're saying, maybe. Okay. So using modal verbs on their own is fine. That's really good. But if we can use them together with an adverb, then that makes the sentence even stronger. So let's have a look here. Certainly, dramatically, well, dramatically has been done for you. Sigly, and constantly. Don't worry, I've not had some major major meltdown with my language skills. Let's have a quick think. I'm just going to give you a minute. If you're watching after the live broadcast, you could have it as ever long as you like. How can we make these three into adverbs which add emphasis. So we've got to add some letters, haven't we? But what do we have to add? Just going to give you a minute. I'll be quiet. Don't worry. I've not gone away. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds more. Okay, I think that's about 30 seconds. I'm not totally sure. But okay, what do you reckon? What do you think? Okay, let's see if your answers match mine. Well, the first one, seriously, dramatically, I'll just type that as well. Dramatically. Oop. No, that's been given to you. There we go. Let's do step one as well. Seriously, dramatically. Next one, significantly. And the last one here, considerably. Now, you might well say, which is a very good point, why do we have 4 different ways of saying exactly the same thing? Aren't these adverbs very similar in meaning? And my question would be, but yes. I know. There's lots of words in English that have a similar meaning, and adverbs are certainly a group of them as well. But we have them. We use them. You need to show, remember going back to the bands that we're looking at the start of the hour, you need to show that you are flexible and you have a wide range of knowledge. And that means that you are able to show that you have knowledge and awareness of different adverbs of saying the same thing, and that you know how to use them, because they are very important. Okay. All right. So as before, we are going to do as we did last week. So the lesson is going to continue. I'm very happy to say. It's going to continue on Zoom. Okay? So I'm putting the Zoom link into the box. And if you'd like to join me for the next half an hour of the class, that would be great. I'll see you there. See you over on Zoom. Bye-bye.